Hey guys, welcome to the Gettin Gunn podcast. My name is Cameron Gunn. Thank you so much for tuning in. First guest today is a good friend, Jake Harfman. Jake's a life coach, personal trainer, and a family man. We talk about his life and fitness, do's and don'ts, and kind of just general knowledge. You can follow Jake at AIM Fitness on Instagram. He will be tagged in my Insta, which is Gettin It Gun. Go ahead and follow me as well. If you'd like to be on the podcast, talk about you, your life, thoughts, ideas, anything, message me on Insta. I would love to meet you. And I hope you guys enjoy the show. So yeah.
What's up, buddy?
What's up, bud? I appreciate you doing this because hopefully this can actually grow into something and hopefully it helps you grow into something a little bit.
I'm excited, man.
As well.
I hope.
Well, for the people that don't already know, I've known Jake for 2014 because that's when I joined the UFC gym.
Is it? Time flies.
Time flies.
Sure.
I don't even remember how we actually became friends. I'll be honest with you.
So you were...
I was working in sales and you were personal trainer.
You were sales.
Yeah.
Because then you did... didn't you do a different department there too?
No. I was just one of the salespeople that sat next to the computer, just talked.
At Corona.
Yeah. Here, pull it a little bit closer to you.
Interesting.
Or like in front of you a little more.
So Corona to SoCo, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we didn't work together at SoCo. Or did we?
I was with Nico
It's all
and
blending together.
Nico and Freddie. Oh, no. Yeah, I was with Nico and Freddie because they were like the acting.
But you were still working under Justin, right? Was he not the GM at the time?
He came.
Okay. It's all a big blur. 8 years with the company.
Yeah.
Seen so many moving parts.
Well, for the people who don't know you, what are your credentials, who you are, where you came from? Because you're my fitness guy in the world, in case I ever have any questions. So how'd you become to be there?
So yeah, my fitness journey kind of started organically. I've always been interested in sports, obviously. Grew up like most, I would say, American kids. You're kind of just dabbling in any and everything. So, I thank my mom now for signing me up for stuff that I hated back then. I played NJB basketball and Little League and soccer and played football and baseball and just everything. So that's kind of how the journey started. Fast forward, I got the opportunity to play football in college for USC. I think that's where the journey kind of took off. I'd always kind of known, like, man, I want to be in fitness in some capacity. So I'd stay behind and kind of pick the coach's brains as far as, why am I doing certain exercises, the sets, the reps, the progressions, and all that kind of stuff. So just kind of took it and run with it. Got an opportunity to work for a small gym, and then eventually went to UFC, and here I am branching out. My wife and I are starting our own fitness company, so we're super excited about that.
All in mentality.
All in mentality, AIM. Yep.
And you're working out of a garage right now.
Out of a garage. Little,
which is fine.
I like to say it's 400 square feet, but realistically it's probably smaller.
But the city's being an asshole about it.
Santa Ana, man, they're tough.
Is that I never knew that you can't. Is that any business?
So in Santa Ana only, it's the only one we looked at locally. In Fountain Valley, in Costa Mesa, Newport, even Corona, we have friends there. You can have a home occupation permit and a business license, but for some reason in Santa Ana, you cannot run a business out of your home. Not sure why. We got the business license, but it's something about personal training that they don't like. They tried to say that it was causing congestion and a parking issue, which it wasn't. We're having people park on different streets and stuff, so I'm not too sure.
Yeah.
So we're out of here. We're lucky enough to move to Costa Mesa the next month. So the journey continues.
So for people like myself, oh, your little baby's in the background. They're going to hear it. It is what it is. Yeah. It's fine.
It's all good.
That's life. How old's Dax?
May 31st of 2019. So what's the year and 2 months?
I always go like year and a half. I don't go by months.
I'm like, shoot.
I don't even know what it is anymore. So the reason why I wanted to do you first is because I think a lot of people have questions with fitness, struggles. Me personally, myself, I think I'm currently at like 270.
lean and mean.
Oh my God. You don't even...
Good thing there's a camera on us. You can see how lean he is.
It's unfair to people
unfair.
when I go to the beach. I have to put my shirt on just to make people feel comfortable out there.
I wish I could get to that point.
I guess, what do you think's the main struggle for a lot of people? Like, not to be rude, but why do people need personal trainers?
Yeah, no, it's a good question. I think the major thing, and even something that kind of I've found out going through it as an athlete, right, where I'm having a personal trainer, but they're a coach, right? It's the accountability factor. It's days that you don't feel like you want to do something, whether it's, stress in life, whether it's family, if it's financial, whatever it is. You kind of talk yourself out of making the decisions that you should make, and I think that's what a coach should be. I think of myself more as a life coach than just a trainer, right? So I don't even like using the word trainer. I'm like I'm a coach. I'm here for you and all assets of your life. But I'm getting that from more people than anything. Is like I'm helping them with their mentality and just creating habits that transfer over to other areas of their life. So I think the accountability factor is probably the biggest one for most people.
So right now during COVID, gyms are closed here in California, so we can't even go to the gym right now if we wanted to. What can people do right now to, I guess you could say, stay fit? Like, I have some weights in the back or in the backyard, which is okay, but some people maybe have just bands, or something.
So aside from I do a free Zoom class every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 a.m. We start on Instagram. Something with the music licensing, I don't know what it was. We went from SoundCloud to like Pandora to all these other ones, and they keep kicking me off, so we went to Zoom. But I try to keep it pretty much all body weight. We'll throw in bands or dumbbells for people who have stuff, but even the people who are succeeding in that, it's not because they have more equipment or more time than anyone else. The people who are really sticking with it are actually the busier professionals that have gotten more busy due to COVID, right? So I don't think you having equipment or your gym's closing, that's not going to help or hurt you. If you had good habits before going into this COVID, you're still making time to work out because it's a priority of yours. I think the biggest thing is just taking care of the nutrition aspect. My wife and I just wrapped up a 5-week fat flush challenge. I always mess up that name. And we had people weigh in literally this morning. So one of my buddies, Travis, hopefully he'll listen to this. He got injured, did something to his back. I forgot what he was doing. He lives in San Diego. Couldn't work out the last 2 weeks. Still found a way the last 2 weeks to lose another, I think it was like 4.2 pounds on top of what he had already lost. So in the 5 weeks, he ended up losing 10.2 pounds. And a lot of that was due to the simple fact of he took care of his diet. So it wasn't about his working out.
So the diet first, diet's most important. And
100%.
Then...
Yep. Can't outwork a bad diet. It's not going to happen.
What if you want to be a bodybuilder?
If you want to be a bodybuilder?
Yeah, there's people out there. I'm sure you've trained people who want to be bodybuilders.
Oh, yeah. Yep. I mean, it's even more important. We'll start going into like specific, not just macronutrients. That's kind of the fad term that's being thrown around, like counting your macros. But I think from a standpoint of if you're going to get on stage and you want to show certain striations in different muscle groups, it's going to be about micronutrients, right? Like magnesium and what role that plays in absorption of certain chemicals and stuff like that. So it can get very, very specific, but just simple and general awareness around meal timing, portion control, that kind of stuff. That's what helps most people out.
So right now in my current life, I can do I just do probably 2 meals a day. Is that hurting me?
It's a good question because there's people who will probably listen to this.
But I do like big. So let me. I guess I'll explain it a little better. Like today, I didn't have my first meal till probably 1 o'clock. But I had 4 eggs, steak, and half avocado.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like a lot of food, but I tried to make it really nutrient dense.
Totally.
A lot of protein and everything.
Did you have the yolks or no?
Yeah. I ate everything.
Yeah.
I don't want. I
can't waste it. Can't throw those yolks away.
I can't waste it. I can't throw it away. But I
children.
I want to find a way to where I never want to. Personally, I never want to count or weigh my food. I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah.
Unless I have no aspirations to go and do a show.
Yeah.
So if I was doing that, then yes, you have to weigh everything because you have to be on the dot.
Yeah.
With it. But I just don't want to have to think about that thing in my head while I'm making it.
I'm the exact same way. For me, I just choose foods that are like more voluminous, right? Like if you have almonds, that's the best one. I have a lot of clients who they eat healthy, but they eat way too much, right? So if I have a handful of almonds, right? People use that term loosely too. Does it fit in the palm of my hand or like in my entire hand going to my fingertips? You can have 1,000 calories in almonds a day and not even realize it and not even really feel that full. Versus literally as you came over today, I'm eating this massive salad. It had kale, spinach, arugula. It had quinoa. It had some chicken. And you just leave off the stuff that, you know, is going to add a lot of fat to the diet. Since
the dressings.
The dressings, the avocados. Obviously, in moderation, that stuff is fine. But, you know, it all goes back to just, I think, portion control in America. That's everything. We tend to have these massive plates that I think a lot of the, you know, European countries, they eat the same stuff that we do.
They're just carbs
and breads and, you know, all that stuff. They're having a lot less of it than we are.
Yeah, like their large is a meat. No. What is it? Our large is their medium, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. Or
no,
reverse.
Their large
is our
yeah.
No, it's 100% true.
I've seen that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn. But I don't know. It's like what do you think? I think I'm like a lot of people out there in the world. Like I work out and then I go through struggles where I don't work out for a week. I eat healthy, but then I go through days where like I'll eat whatever. It does. It does.
It's in front of me. It's getting eaten.
It does not matter. I feel like I probably never get full. Like I could always probably find room to fit whatever I want to eat in. What's the struggle that you like? Because you're getting clients all the time. What's the struggle that everybody's having right now? Like, what's the main? Is it something that starts early in their life and they just can't get rid of? Is it discipline that they need? Is it they need to work out a little bit harder?
I definitely don't try to push working out harder on people. I actually just had one of my clients, literally a couple of days ago. They were nervous about the way out today.
Yeah.
And then just going forward in the process, they're like, man, I'm getting the end of this 5 weeks, and do you think I should join like a gym when they open back up and like do more workouts? I'm like, you don't need to work out more. You already work out more than I do, right? Like I only work out 5 days a week. Some people work out twice a day and 7 days a week. I don't try to outwork a bad diet. Think of your food as your fuel, right? So if you're not fueling your body for the next workout and you're not recovering from your last, it's kind of a crapshoot. So it's just a paradigm shift. Instead of thinking as pleasure, which food is, yes, ultimately going to be some form of pleasure.
It's so good.
It's so good. It also has to fuel your lifestyle, right? If you're an athlete, like when I was playing football, dude, we're lifting weights at 5 a.m. We're out in the field for 2.5 hours. Like I had probably 60 to 65% of my diet was carbs. And it was totally fine because that's what I was burning all day, every day, right? I'm not using fats too much and proteins as a fuel source. Now that I'm not doing that, I'm still on my feet a lot of the day, but now I'm probably more towards maybe 35 to 40% carbs. And then I just make up for it in my fats and my proteins.
So I think the famous thing right now is keto, which is like stay away from all carbs.
Yeah.
Which I mean, my mom and my dad used it and they lost a bunch of weight.
Totally.
Now, the thing that I hear is like, if you reintroduce carbs back into your life, it like, boom, skyrockets you back to almost where you just were.
Yeah.
Because you totally took it away from your body.
Totally.
So, is that how it like? What are your thoughts about it? Have you tried it?
I have not tried it. I'm in favor of anything in moderation. So, clients ask me about it and they say, hey, what do you think about it? Would you recommend it? Sure. Like I can't tell you from personal experience. The science backs it to a certain extent, but can anyone stay on that for the rest of their life? That is a different story, right? So I don't like getting on something that I know I'm going to get off. Just like some type of like Jenny Craig, like, hey, I'm going to start and I'm going to stop. It's going to be a program that has an end date, which I don't like. So as long as you're doing it to jumpstart weight loss and it's going to help you get over a plateau, I would say go for it. But is it the long-term answer that you're always going to do keto? Definitely not, because it is hard. It's hard to, how are you going to go out for a friend's birthday and, you're at Applebee's, I'm going to get a keto something.
Be the guy that
and,
just takes the cheese off the pizza and then throws the
It's no way to live, right? Food, as much as it is fuel, there's elements of pleasure where it's a social aspect in America. So I had a client, won't say her name, but I think she lost like 10 or 11 pounds in the first like 2 or 3 weeks. And I was like, okay, stay with it. And all of a sudden it started, when she started to, get carbs back in her diet, it started to reverse and she started to put weight on pretty easily. So, I mean, it's an isolated case. It's not for everyone. But I would say use it to jumpstart weight loss, see how your body adapts to it, and then take it from there.
What are your favorite types of workouts to do? Like because you used to be, so what position did you play? You're a punter or kick? Like, I think there's.
So collegiate, once I stopped playing safety in high school and junior college, then just strictly kicked and punted.
Okay.
Kickoffs, punts, field goals. So.
Did you start? I never asked you about your USC.
Yeah.
Were you this like
starter? Yeah, junior and senior year.
Any looks from, because you got
Baltimore. So I was actually between me and Matt Bosher, which he's a great dude. He's having great success with the Falcons. We came out the same year, so he was out of the University of Miami. I was out of SC, and they were telling us, was it Coach Armstrong? I think it was Keith Armstrong, the special teams coach there. And so he's, talking to both of us during the process, saying, hey, we're going to take one of you guys in the 7th round. So I went in thinking, hey, I might get drafted in the NFL. This is crazy. They ended up taking him in the 7th round, and then they signed me 2 minutes after, right?
Yeah.
When you're a free agent. So played for the Falcons a little bit, got released, got picked up by the Ravens, played for them for a little bit, got released, played in the CFL a little bit, kind of got released, and I was like, you know what? All right, I got to start set myself up for the rest of my life beyond football.
Why'd they release you?
There's only 32 guys in the world
that need to be kicking.
Yeah. So it's not like
they don't carry it.
There's no backups. Not like a
linebacker.
Yeah, exactly. So you're either the guy or you're on the streets.
So during the draft, whenever the draft came around, let's say you got drafted. Like, what's the difference from you getting drafted last in the 7th round? Than you being a free agent, because I don't think the 7th round people even get a contract.
They get a contract. It's not. I mean, they can still cut you at any time, even if you're a first rounder. But they have exclusive rights to you, right? So no other team could just sign you. Whereas you're a free agent,
they just call you up and sign you.
Yeah. So I had a few teams that are like, hey, you want to sign with us? Want to sign with us? And I'm like, ultimately the Falcons. And then they'll even still give small signing bonuses for undrafted rookie free agents. So.
They fly you out and everything, or do they pay for that?
Yeah, no, they pay for everything.
That's good.
Yep.
Because I heard of like free workouts or whatever. Like you have to go there and go work out
for free. Yeah, it's crazy.
That sucks.
It's a big old business, man.
But
big business.
What were we talking about? You bet working out in the US. Like, when you were working out at USC, like, did you see your training regimen change drastically? Like, did they? Obviously, they probably helped you learn, and you learned a lot. But there's a difference between working out for football and then working out for your regular health.
Yeah.
Every single day. I guess what takeaways did you get taken away from USC that you apply, I guess, daily now? Do you still have to be running suicides every day?
No. No. Train for. I think most people need to understand like what they're training for. Right? Is it to be a more active, healthier, father? And is it to you just keep up with the kids who are running around? Is it, hey, you're getting older and I really need bone density and I don't want to fall and break a hip? Like what are you training for? So I think that's the basis of where it starts, because not everyone needs to be running. Running is great, but it does take a pounding on the body. So I would say I probably do less running than I used to. I've done half marathons and stuff. And is that the goals I have for myself? No, I want to be big, strong, fast, but I don't necessarily want to have the biggest endurance capacity. Yeah. But back to the football specific question, I would see the program change pretty much, depending on the season that we're in, off season, preseason, season, postseason, and that would determine rep counts, sets, reps, volume, training intensity, and exercise selection, all that stuff.
But like the athletes of the world that did football in high school and did football in college, do you think it's wrong for them now outside of, because probably all they know is how to work out by football workouts?
Yeah.
And is that wrong for them to try to be doing right now? is that the wrong kind of workouts that they should
I mean,
be
there's
doing?
a lot of different movements and exercise that go into like the football stuff.
Yeah.
If you're talking about SAQ, speed, agility, quickness, no, I think everyone should stay, light on their feet. They should be agile, right? No one wants to intentionally move their body slow. It's not like I want to do that, right? When you get out of a chair, you don't want to get out of the chair slow, right? But should football players, 10 years, 15 years out of college, now you're in, 35, 40, should you be doing clean and jerks and snatches? Yeah. It's debatable. Sure, it's healthy, but your shoulders and knees are going to take a thrashing. So I've probably limited my Olympic lifting, but I still do some of the speed, agility, quickness. Yeah.
Yeah, for like, I just I can do power clean still, but I feel like for myself, like I don't know if it's going to do a lot for my body.
Well, just the risk reward. It's like, what am I set to gain from this versus what can I lose? I could lose a labrum in my shoulder. I could tear something.
Or just scrape the hell out of my shins.
Or bloody shins.
And all that. It's just like, I mean, I think I've been there plenty of times. And I just don't want to I'm 30 now. Oh. My shoulders hurt. My elbows hurt. Like everything on my body. No, I had to go to athletic chiropractor like randomly. Like when I'd sit here, like the side from my ass bone all the way to my knee. Oh, it's just like random pain. And I just like
you're sitting a lot in the day, right?
It sucks. Yeah. I mean, I sit. I do customer service from home for a wireless company. I'm not gonna say the name.
Get you a treadmill desk, dude. It works.
I would do it. I don't have the room for it, but I do it. But yeah, I sit for like 8 hours a day. And I'm sure a lot of people right now are just sitting along because a lot of people working from home.
I mean, think back in the day, went to Japan. I mean, those people eat and drink. I mean, that's some of the nicest people in the world.
They gave us free cigarettes at the bar.
I mean, yeah, they're unhealthy, but you know what? They're almost reversing the unhealthy habits because they're moving 24/7. They're walking everywhere. Yeah. Whereas here, no, we're sitting to go eat, and we're sitting to go drive somewhere. We're sitting for work. Like we're sitting nonstop.
But I guess that's true. Poor guy, he just can't fall asleep. I could hear him back there. Like I heard they're really high in diabetics over there.
I could see that.
Like yes, they're all super skinny and lean, but they have a high level.
Yeah, weight is one thing. What's actually going on internally is completely different.
So when people come to you and say, "I want to lose 30 pounds," it's like. Yes, but you don't really want to lose 30 pounds. You just want to lose fat.
And that's where like me as like a more of a life coach tries to fill that void because I'm trying to slowly change their thinking into, no, you want to be lighter on your feet. You want to have stamina. You want to, take your kids to Disneyland or the grandkids and not feel winded, not have to sit down every 10 minutes. Like it's more about the benefits that you'll get from those positive decisions rather than just a number on a scale.
What's a realistic timetable that the average person should have to lose? Let's say, I think everyone could say they could lose 10 pounds, roughly.
Yeah.
Me a lot more. Yeah. I need like 30 to 40. But let's say for the first 10, what's a realistic timetable that people should actually have in their mind to lose it, but have it also stay off? Because we can go in the sauna for a couple days and
get that right off.
Get it off.
If you want it to be fat and not muscle mass, and if you go to a doctor, what would they recommend? Safely, fat loss 1 to 2 pounds a week, right? And of course, you could crash diet, and you could binge this, and you could do all this stuff, but 1 to 2 pounds a week, and I say it's obviously 1 to 2 is a huge difference. Is it going to take 5 weeks or 10 weeks? But that's where like. Even sleeping and the role that plays with your hormone balance. Like if you're sleeping well, if you are working out the right way and you're recovering your muscle tissues, so you could push harder in the workouts and increase the intensity. Like all those little factors play a role. Are you getting the proper supplements in, that kind of stuff? But 5 to 10 weeks to lose 5 to 10 pounds of fat.
Same for guy or girl?
Doesn't really matter. Yeah. If you're talking about
as long as you're consistent,
muscle,
as long as you're you're like, because you said, do you do about 5 days? What, about an hour a day, 2 hours a day?
1 hour.
1 hour a day. Yeah. 1 hour a day, 5 days a week.
Yeah.
And then you should be consistently around 1 to 2 pounds. Okay.
Yeah.
But then, I think a lot of people like myself would get discouraged because I'll wake up, I'll weigh myself. I'm like, okay, 265, cool. Yeah. And then at night, I'll go weigh myself. I'm like 267, but I just ate dinner and just drank some a bottle of water's half a pound. So technically, if you drink it, you just gain yourself a half a pound. So it's like little small things like that. Like what I think, are you a person that likes, do you recommend your clients to look at the scale or like take the scale
I
away?
really don't. I think it's good to, numbers don't lie, and they certainly tell a part of the story, just they don't tell the whole story, you know? So goes back to goal setting. Like you have to know exactly what you're really training for, and just keep the main thing, the main thing. Right? If you know, like most people, if you ask them, hey, what are your goals? I want to get lean and tone. That's such a generic answer. What does that really mean? Like, do you want to have a six
Brad
pack?
Pitt
I want to look like
Fight Club
in 2 weeks. Make it happen.
The summer's coming up, and
so,
I really need to look like this guy.
You're my coach. You got me. As long as you hammer down very specific, a time frame, a numerical value you want to get to, how you're going to feel, how you're going to look, those things, you kind of set goals around it. It makes it much more attainable rather than the weight goal. Right? So I try to make people pick goals that are not only weight specific, right? Are there any cool things you want to do? Do you want to be able to do 10 unbroken push-ups or 5 strict pull-ups or run a mile in this amount of time? So the goals are not just, a number on a scale, but it's also, I have performance goals. I have aesthetic goals. I have, I would say more of like a lifestyle and accountability goal. Like, hey, my goal is to work out 5 times this week. Let's have a behavior goal. So it's not just a number, but if I succeed in all these facets, chances are, yes, the weight's probably going to come off. But the weight is a byproduct of everything that you already did. It's more of like that lag measure. If you put in the lead measures, the outcome is going to be there. But don't just focus on the big thing, right?
So yeah, I think I have like a body fat handle caliber. I don't know how accurate those are. Like the one where you kind of hold out straight in front of you, like
can be, but hydration levels will throw it off. Yeah.
Like if I just drank a ton of water, it change.
Yep.
Oh.
A ton.
I don't even know how. Like, how does that? Do you even know how that works? The little hand caliber.
So it sends like a little impulse from one side, obviously through your body to the next. Your feet have to be flat on the ground.
Okay.
And because the way the current flows through your body, and it flows differently through water versus through fat and muscle, it'll change the reading. So whether you have no water and you're dehydrated versus I'm like overhydrated, just drank a gallon of water and it's only noon, the reading will be really skewed.
So if I just dehydrate myself, I can feel a little better about myself the next time I do that. I'm like, so good.
Yeah. Those can range anywhere from 3 to 5% off. Skin
That's
folds.
That's a giant difference, though.
It's a giant difference. Yeah,
that's
skin folds are more accurate.
That goes from abs to no abs, technically, if you're low. If you're in that. I've never been there. I don't know what that's like in my life. I'm sure you've been there plenty of times. Yeah. Sleep, though, because I forgot to talk about sleep. Well, let's see. In my life, I'm off of work around 5, and then I spend time with my daughter, and we play a little bit, and then it's like, okay, my time now to like relax and chill. I probably go to bed around 12, and I'll wake up 7. Is that what? Is it everybody's time different? Is there like a certain you need 8 hours of sleep a day? You need.
I mean, they recommend
because The Rock
8 hours.
Gets what? He says he gets like 5, and he's still a monstrous. Bowl of a man.
When you're like over 18 and technically you should be for the most part done growing. Yeah, there's some things that say, oh, your growth plates aren't closed by then. You're still in puberty. You're still 8 hours. But us 30, 25 and over, you don't need 8. I would still recommend try to get at least 6, probably 7. But the closer you get to 8 is more ideal. Yeah. There's a little monster.
What if I did I know. He's like, what's all this stuff doing all over here?
I sleep 15 hours a day.
What about, let's say I did 7, but then I took an hour nap. Does that technically add up and count, or is it not the same?
As long as you get into deep sleep, yes. But it can't be like that, light sleep where you're, if you wear an Apple Watch or Fitbit, mine tracks my sleeping patterns. Yeah. How often was I restless and then light sleep versus deep sleep and REM? You got to be getting restful sleep. So naps are great. I mean, same with meditation. If you can go there and go there fast, really good. I don't even get 8 hours of sleep. I'm freaking busy. I usually get 6.5.
Yeah.
But the older we get, you don't
people,
need it.
Well, I see your Instagram. You're up at ungodly hours. There's a new 600-page book. Let me start this for the day.
Yeah, I'll typically go to bed at 10, wake up at 4:30, so 6.5. Yeah. For me, if I sleep too much, I feel groggy. My body it's been accustomed to doing these kind of hours for quite some time now. So
I want that in my life where I can just wake up before it. Well, if the gym is open back up, I feel better about myself when I work out early. It's like because one, it's done and it's kind of out of the way, but then I feel like it makes me eat better the rest of the day because like I just worked out. So
you're just more cognizant of it.
Don't screw it up.
And if you ever want a second workout, you're like, dude, that workout that was 12 hours ago. I worked out at 6 a.m. I can go for a little night run or something at 6 p.m.
Just go do a little bit.
Yeah.
Go do yoga.
Anything
or something. What about stretching? As you can see, I'm not the most flexible in the world. I've been able to touch my toes for about a year.
There we go.
Yeah.
Knees bent or straight?
You don't have specifics. But I used to do yoga a lot. I was actually really surprised at how hard yoga was tough, the very first time.
Holy cow.
Like, because I was young, I started working out. I was 11, 12 with my dad at Bally's. I don't even know if Bally's is still around.
No.
I got bought out by somebody.
Yeah.
But I started working out at Bally's and went over to 24-hour fitness, and we started doing yoga, and I was like, I remember just sweating so much just for like holding my leg up in one position and like going crazy. And I think it's, besides the whole spiritual aspect of yoga, which if people have that, it's perfectly fine. Like I feel like it helps stabilize your body. I don't know if I got a lot more flexibility out of it. Maybe I just need to do it more. Are you a flex before your workout? Because I heard like too much, what is it? Static stretching and
static stretching can
like this. The static stretching, if what people don't know what I'm talking about, like if you just try to bend over and touch your toes
and
for a long
hold
time,
that position.
try to hold it, try to put your hand behind your back and try to stretch your arm out for that long, like that. I heard that before your workout could actually weaken your body.
Yeah, because it like starts to relax muscle tissues too much, and then they don't have like the same stretch reflexability to be explosive. So like the mass, Americans, can you stretch static before workout? Sure. I mean, if it makes you feel good, a lot of it's just like, do I feel good? It certainly does things. Yes. Okay. Like, will you have increased range of motion? 100%. Should athletes do it like before a game, before competition, before practice? No, because it has been proven to, make the muscle firing a little bit slower, not as much power, but you're talking about minute amounts, maybe like 2 to 5%, right? So if I'm going to go lift, a heavy back squat, and if I could typically do 400 pounds, I'll have a 2 to 5% decrease in that if I do like long stretches. So it's more dynamic warm-ups, things that like, a knee hug to a front lunge, where I'm not holding positions too long, and it's more dynamic with movements involved, but still lengthening muscle tissues.
It's like you're constantly. It's like the football stretches where you're all in line, like kicking your legs up.
100%. Yeah, walking leg kicks and stuff like that, leg swings. But I mean, for most people, are they really pushing that hard in the gym? To and they're worried about a power decrease? No. I mean, hey, if it makes you feel good, just do it. If you're working out, awesome.
Why do you think a lot of... Actually, I think it's changed. In the past, I think girls used to be afraid of lifting heavy weights or weights in general.
Because they're going to get bulky, man. Really bulky. It's going to get huge.
They're going to get massive.
So fast.
So, I mean, Arnold's... they're going to be at the Arnold Classic in no time.
Watch out.
But I think that sentiment's changed recently, and a lot of girls now are just hitting the weights pretty hard.
Yeah.
Why... I guess, what was my question with this? Like... Is the same workouts for guys? Can the same workouts that guys do, women can do, and can they get different results or the same exact results? Like, should a girl be doing bench press? I feel like I don't see girls doing bench press a lot, but it's got one of the guys' favorite workouts on Monday.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'll just go back to the goals. I mean, if you are going to get on stage and, you're a competitive bodybuilder, 100%. Bench press is a compound lift, just like a squat and a deadlift, and you can hit the most amount of muscle groups in a limited amount of time. It's awesome. If you're a power lifter, of course, that's your sport, right? If you are just mainstream America, do you need to bench press? No, you certainly can. It's not going to hurt. I mean, if you just got a boob job, I'd recommend, hey, don't do it. Maybe lay it off. But I mean, shoot, total body train it for everyone.
Would it make a girl's chest smaller?
Chest smaller, not necessarily. It may tighten certain areas, and then all of a sudden it looks a little bit different. But is it going to make your breasts smaller? No.
Yeah. I think I'm in my head right now. I see a lot of girls on the Stairmaster doing that kick out, like on all different sides. Is that actually doing anything for them, or is that just making them? It's kind of like stretching. It's making them feel good, like they're actually hitting something.
Yeah. Are you doing a body weight, a non-weighted hip extension, a little glute kickback? Sure. Is there enough tension to elicit any positive? Like, are you building your booty at that point? No, you're not.
Is that where the bands, like putting 2 bands, like, or the what do you call it, slingshot band around your legs, and start doing those a little bit, and that'll start building all the extra muscles and everything else, because they're all, I think most women want to tone their legs and their butt and everything else that way. So I see them doing squats a lot, leg presses and everything else. But do you think that they're not training hard enough? And what I mean by that is, like, sometimes I see them put 10 pounds on each side on a leg press when I know, like, they could probably put 45s on each side.
You can do that with one leg.
And but I think they're afraid to do too much weight.
Yeah.
Because they think it's going to make them bulky, when I think it's actually probably going to help them a lot more.
Yeah.
It's just a thought of it. I see it a lot, and like I see him doing Zumba, or I'm like, you should really. I think getting out of there and actually hitting weights would help them way more.
Totally.
Than
having more muscle on your body burns more fat, right? It's obviously more oxidative, so it takes more oxygen throughout the day to uptake it, to go to the muscle, just for the existence of it. So, these numbers might not be 100% right, but they're pretty accurate. For a guy, each pound of muscle you have on your body will burn anywhere from like 7 to 9 calories per day. Each pound of fat is only going to burn, I think it's like 2 to 3, maybe 2 to 4 calories per day. So it's like, hey, if I have all this muscle, it's just going to be way more fat burning than all the fat, right? And the same thing if you're a female. The numbers are like down like 1 or 2 on each. Muscle for a female, I think it burns like 6 or 7, and fat's like 1 or 2. So yeah, the idea is to maximize lean muscle tissue and let the fat burn calories for you, right? So your metabolic rate, your metabolism throughout the day is just much higher. You don't need to expend as much energy to get the same payoff as someone else.
What about if someone's pregnant?
What about it?
Like, when should they stop working out, or should they even stop? Can they do everything that they've been doing? Because I've seen those videos of CrossFit chicks doing like muscle ups, and their bellies like hugging against the bar, and their baby's head just like getting
just
hit,
kissing that bar,
just kissing the bar.
That's
doing power cleans and everything. I think workouts should still be going on. Yeah. But is there a level of intensity where you should stop?
Everything I've heard from doctors, obviously the wife was just pregnant, and she is again. She's 13 weeks pregnant. Woo-hoo.
Congrats.
Yeah, but no, every doctor that we spoke to, because I asked the same questions you're asking, they're all saying, when it comes, I think it's 3rd trimester, try to stay off exercises lying on your back and like lifting the legs up and stuff like that. That is a little tough and just uncomfortable. Is it going to do any damage? Not necessarily. But no, there's women now who are freaking running half marathons and stuff when they're pregnant. I mean, you don't have to stay off of anything. Just kind of listen to your body. If it feels uncomfortable and it feels like it's going to like tear something on the hips when you're doing certain exercises, stay off it. But for the most part, doctors encourage you to keep working out while you're pregnant. I would just, take the intensity down. Know that, hey, some of my iron is going to have to go to the baby. It's going to be tougher for me to replenish oxygen, so maybe I shouldn't go as intense on my interval training and stuff like that. Yeah, take the intensity down, take the weight down, but can I perform squats, lunges, deadlifts, do everything? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, now that you have another baby on the way, and you already got one right now, is there a certain age where you should start implementing workouts and like it's not playing anymore, like where they're just out playing soccer or something, but actual physical weights? When's the right age to start building a weight training program for somebody?
I will try to hold off. So my stepson Vance, he's out there writing his own workouts, and he's kind of getting more into it now. We're not really giving him any weights. Occasionally, if he's like really asking, hey, can I try that? Sure, we'll let you try it. But for the most part, I mean, he's using the bike, the row machine. He's doing lunges, single leg, rear foot elevated, split squats, push-ups, pull-ups. Try to keep it body weight as much as you can and just focus on those kind of calisthenic movements. Can they, lift some weights? Sure. It's not going to hurt them to do like single joint exercises, some biceps and triceps. you don't want to be loading his spine and having the compression on his disc, having him do back squat when he's 10 years old. And
what was that myth? Like when they start squatting, they will shorten their growth.
Yeah, oh yeah, if the growth plates aren't closed and you're just compressing all those discs.
That's a real thing.
It's a real thing for sure. So I would definitely hold off on those, but
would that be any part of their body? Like if they're doing chest with their arms, technically? Like
no,
it's just
no.
really
That's just the growth plates.
It's
Yeah,
actually,
the spine compresses. Yeah,
can actually stop them from growing.
Oh yeah, yep. Same thing with
could have been over
HGH. I had a buddy. It's not too late. I had a buddy who took HGH way back in the day before his growth plates were closed, and he got like another 1.5 inches from human growth hormone.
Okay, so
yeah. So it could go that way too, and obviously like the nails, the hair, everything kind of gets a little bit more large.
So, steroids and HGH and everything else. Ever done it?
No, never will. No.
Never will.
Are
you against it? Like,
for just mainstream people like myself, very much against it. I don't think you should. Like, when I did blood work, I think this was like 2 years ago now. Before we were trying to have my first son, Dax, and then Marla, my wife, was like, "Hey, go get some blood work done. Just get a checkup." I had never done it, so I was like, "I don't know what my cholesterol is like, what my iron count is like, and any of those numbers." And one of them was the testosterone. He's like, "Hey, you have slightly lower testosterone levels." I'm like, "Really?"
He's like, "Look
I
at
was
this."
like,
bitch.
"I don't get it."
You
Yeah,
just start flexing them.
And he was trying to kind of politely beat around the bush and tell me, "Yeah, maybe you should look at some testosterone treatment." And I'm like, at that time I think I was 29. You want me to take testosterone in my 20s?
Yeah.
No, then my baseline testosterone levels are always going to be jacked up. My body's just fighting this uphill battle to always kind of self-regulate what it should be at. So it's a slippery slope. As soon as you start it, it's so hard to ever get off it. That's like the new normal, and you're trying to always chase the next thing,
Okay. Because I have mixed feelings. Like, I would never, if I was ever going to take it, I can't stick a needle in myself. Oh. But then I know that if you're taking the pill form of it, it could really mess up your internal organs. Like
and just the absorption of it. It's like, man, you got to be doing a lot right to absorb everything through a capsule or a tablet. Yeah.
So what about, so I'm going to get back to it. So what about regular capsules of multivitamins and everything else? You're not getting all that nutrition by taking it that way?
I mean, that's where like probiotics and just gut health and liver support, like, hey, if your liver, everything has to pass through there.
Yeah.
So as long as that's like filtering everything properly, but God, what was the number? I want to say it was like only 70% of supplements that you're taking, you actually absorb everything in there. Because most people obviously have gut health and, too much red meat and too much this, that, and the other, and they're not getting enough probiotic and fiber. So a lot of the supplements you're taking, if you don't have those other healthy avenues and processes, a lot of it's getting kind of just excreted as waste.
Have you seen, I'm sure being in the fitness industry this long, you've had friends who probably are taking it, right? Do you know anybody?
What?
Anything. HGH, steroids, and like, do you know?
Oh, yeah. Back in the day, my buddy had taken... what was it called? Tren. Remember it was over the counter? It used to be over the counter at I think it was at GNC, NutriShop, or...
Yeah, back in high school.
Yeah. I came really close to doing it. I was like, you know what? Man, I could have an edge on people. I'm in football. I should do this. I had buddies take it. Dude, my buddy, he was more physically gifted than I was, for sure. He was a specimen, but I always worked way harder. And I'm seeing him like, I'm working harder. I'm getting more sleep and eating better, but... He's excelling way faster at a rate that I just can't keep up with. And so, does it help? 100%. And again, if you're getting paid and that's your sport, would I tell a guy who was trying to make an NFL roster and provide for his family, don't take it? No, man, that's a choice that everyone has to make on their own. But if you're just a normal guy, I got a desk job, I'm just trying to provide for my family, and it has no bearing on my athletic status, I think you could try other avenues, fix up the loose ends, and then if all else fails, maybe look into something.
So you wouldn't take this when you were 29, but let's say for the guys that are turning 59 and their testosterone is finally dropping, it's natural in their body. Would you still feel the same way for them?
I'm not.
Or for yourself?
Because I'm not in that position, it's kind of hard to say. I'm thinking about my dad who just turned 79. Yeah, my dad, 79. So would I tell him to take it? Sure. Vitality and like, gets you moving and grooving. Joints feel better, and like hair loss and nails, and like, dude, why not? You know. And again, he's staved, off the testosterone lowered levels for how long? So yeah, I could justify it. I just think like wait as long as you can, because then you're pretty much committing the rest of your time to I'm gonna have to be on it.
It's kind of like what were we just talking about? What's that diet? Keto. It's kind of like those things. Like once you stop, it's just like
it's tough, because then you're gonna remember like, hey, when I was at that point, how did I feel? Man, I felt great. I was freaking rock climbing. I was doing this, and I was strong. I was lifting this, and you're not gonna want to regress once you get off it. It's hard to say, hell, now I'm a little fatter and a little slower and a little weaker. Like, so that's what I mean. Like mentally, you're gonna feel like I want the best version of myself. The best version of myself was when I was taking that.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm gonna go back to
it's
it.
Like the extreme version of this is all the famous bodybuilders of the world, the Ronnie Colemans and the Arnolds, but they're like beaten,
decrepit. They need canes to walk.
Well, yeah, Ronnie Coleman can't even walk anymore. Basically, he has so many surgeries on his knees, and
it's sad.
It's like their skin's kind of like they got super fat and they lost a bunch of weight and their skin's hanging off them. They got so much muscle, and then they lost their muscle. Now their skin's hanging off them because they can't fill it.
That's scary, dude.
Fill it back up anymore.
Yeah. Again, that's not my place, because did it work for them? Sure, man. The guy's like, what? How many 10-time Olympia?
Yeah.
And
we're talking about him, so it obviously helped him.
Did something right. So that's not. I'm not going to pass judgment. If that's like the life that you wanted, envisioned, you got it. You did it.
Yeah.
But for me, that's obviously not my goal, so I wouldn't do it.
Yeah. I was just curious about it. I was like I it's kind of like a marijuana. Like I don't care if someone does it.
Not at all.
But I feel it very strange that it's illegal. That's the part I don't know why.
I don't know.
Like I don't see I've watched documentaries, I read up on it. I don't think it's not really killing anybody who's taking it unless you're doing an excessive amount. When you do an excessive amount of anything
else with you know. I mean, I know I have some friends who actually function better on it. You know, they've been smoking for how many years now? 15, 20 years. It's almost like I would prefer you take a little hit every few hours, and that's your steady state. Like that's what you're used to now. That's the normal.
Yeah, I never smoked marijuana, so I don't even know I only smoke cigars, so I don't even know what the hype is honestly around marijuana. Never done when I was in high school or anything like that.
Never, not even once.
Not even once.
Really.
I told myself, like, since it's kind of like I haven't done it for so long, like if I'm gonna do it for the first time, like I want to be like with like somebody like high profile,
like while you're doing this
Snoop Dogg,
podcast.
Joe, like you know, yeah. Like I wanted to be.
How
like,
about this
like
podcast with Joe Rogan and Snoop on it?
yeah, like that'd be easy, no problem whatsoever.
All day.
All day.
It may not last too long. You may be freaking face down.
Well, I've had a buddy of mine. I won't say it wasn't marijuana, but I think it was like this crazy contraption. It looked like a bong, but it wasn't a bong. And I think it was hash because they put it on like a piece of metal, and that piece of metal like made a smoke, and then you hit the bong or something like that. And this dude thought like the world was turning like upside down on him, and he was like crawling, like trying to get to it. I'm like, I don't want to ever do that. But
that's too funny.
Now that we kind of talked about like the actual fitness world, I was curious about the business aspect of it now, because now you're starting your own business. You have your own business. It's growing a lot. And hopefully a lot of your clients and everybody else listens to this and kind of creates more people and helps you get more business as well. Now that you're in this business world, what's the you don't have to talk, I guess, not talk bad about the corporate gym world, but what's the major difference that you're seeing now that you're on your own training people versus the corporate side of gyms? Because you might get big enough where you actually have your own giant gym like one day. Like what's the differences that you're going to make that other gyms aren't currently doing right now?
I think a simple way of summarizing it, like obviously I came from corporate fitness, you know, UFC, it's corporate now. Was it back in the day? No, because I joined when we were only 5 clubs, you know, and now we're in, I think it was like 35 countries and thousands and thousands of clubs. But it is, it's corporate fitness. The biggest thing is that those are, for the most part, again, don't beat me up over this statement, but for the most part, those are business people running a fitness company, and they're not fitness guys, right? They don't have. I'm not a huge scientific guy. You don't need your master's. You don't need your doctorate. No, but it certainly helps. That lets me know like how much time you've invested into the industry itself and not just the business side of the industry. So I think you have these massive companies who are just they're run by business people. Whereas myself, I look up to people who are on the ground floor. Like I don't think there's anything wrong with being a trainer when you're, a coach, a trainer when you're 40, 50, 60. Like if that's where the heart is and you love helping people, you like the connection, that's not nothing to be looked down upon, right? That's just the path that you chose. And so like I like listening to people like that who are in the trenches, in the dirt, kind of doing it. And it just so happens that, they have PhDs and they have master's degrees. They're running their own facility. They're entrepreneurs. They're businessmen. So corporate fitness is just, I think they're just trying to mainstream a process, and it's just, price cutting, and it's a big sales game.
How do you see it changing in like the next 10 to 20 years? Like what's a gym going to look like in the next 10 to 20 years?
I wish I knew. I'd be ahead of the game then. I wish I knew. I think you're going to see, obviously a lot of people now have seen 24-hour fitnesses. I don't know how many percent of them are closing or closed or whatnot. I heard it was like 20 or 25%. So that I don't know what's going to happen with the Fitness 19s, the Planet Fitness, the Chews, but I imagine there's going to be some big losses.
Yeah.
Because you're selling a low-cost product, which it seems good, but the consumer now is more concerned with just health and safety and the relationships more so than a price tag, right?
Yeah.
I would rather go somewhere and spend twice as much, right? If it's 20, I'll spend 40, I'll spend 80, just to have a facility that I know the people, they're friendly, they're nice, it's super clean, and it's not oversaturated with people I don't know.
Yeah.
Their health concerns. So I think you're going to see more entrepreneurs start to kind of branch off and do their own thing. I think the studio type fitness, right? The Soul Cycle, the yogas, the Barry's Boot Camp, and those types of small facilities, the Yoga 6, like those are going to take off more, I think. Right? You'd rather be at, I'd rather go to somewhere where I know, hey, there's only, 300-400 members, and they clean and disinfect every hour, and I know people on a first name basis, rather than some sweaty guy just freaking used up my bench and I don't even know him and he's looking a little funky, right? So yeah. I think that's kind of how it's gonna turn a little bit.
Yeah, because I work out at Choose Fitness, and the biggest thing I like differently from them compared to like LA Fitness or 24 is there's no salespeople. Yeah, it's all done online.
It's a beautiful thing.
It's a beautiful thing.
Although you came from sales, I
came from sales, but I'll be honest, I obviously wasn't the best, or else I'd probably still be working there. It was just, but also I just didn't like it. Yeah. And that's why I'm trying to make this actually work in my favor. But it's like I never understood why like I needed to talk to a salesperson.
Yeah.
Like
you know what you want. You know the product's already like they're like why you're in essence there to read you the contract.
I used to hate walking people around the gym. Like I used to sign in, and then the sales guy would walk around the corner and come up to the front, grab your little guest sheet, like what are your goals? What are you trying to hit? All right, well, that's the bench over there, and that's the treadmill over there. Let me show you the bathroom.
I'm not your coach.
Let me show you the bathrooms look like.
But I am the sales guy.
Yeah, and that's all they do. And I was like, they like, especially the ones that wouldn't. I feel like if you're working at a gym, dress like you work at the gym.
Yeah.
Unless like you're the head honcho that's jumping around from gym to gym. Like you look a little more business professional. But you could wear like a Nike whatever and some shorts, and you could still be a salesperson.
Yep.
But that's the biggest thing I see going away from.
Yeah.
I think people are
tired. And I think where was it? Was it 24 that actually got rid of all their sales people, or they got rid of like a majority of them, and they went to just straight up like kiosks. Like I wanted to buy this type of membership kiosk, and I think they have a general manager still.
Yeah.
But that's about it.
Like at Choose, they have front desk people, and the front desk people they check people in and they clean everything. Yeah. And then they have a couple group class areas, and they have people that teach the group classes. No personal training. Yeah. And then they have a theater where you could. It's like a movie theater.
Back, relax.
It's a bunch of treadmills, treadmills and ellipticals
crazy.
in a giant theater. I think they got that right. I think it's really nice, and they did it really well. You just scan your barcode, you go in, and do your thing. What if, for the people that, because I tried to do personal training when I was younger. I was okay with it. Like I didn't know as much as but I think I was really good at connecting with people. Yeah, and that was I think that's the main thing with a lot of personal training. Yeah, like everyone knows how to do squats and everything else, and you can just kind of like we were talking about, you saw somebody's workout training program said the
Yeah.
very first day you do 250 burpees.
Oh, woo,
And it's like,
250?
yeah, like
I wouldn't even make it.
Yeah,
That's
you're
tough.
not going to get somebody happy to continue to work out if you're going to tell them
No.
to do 250 burpees
No,
and go.
not at all.
Like what if somebody that's going to start off now, because there's a lot of what do you say, social media workout people that are like, let me show you how to get abs, and
Yeah.
they do 3 sets of this, 3 sets of this, but they're probably going to actually want to build it into a business one day. So let's say you're your 19-year-old self and you know what you know now, trying to start your business. Like, what would you tell yourself to grow your business to where you want it to be? Like, if you're, because you started off in a garage,
question.
and it's not
In a
like
dang garage,
like you
baby.
got yes, you got a lot of stuff, but you
Yeah.
you probably would have been fine with a couple kettlebells and maybe a couple
Yeah.
bands and driving to people's houses
Yeah.
and doing it that way. How would you have implemented that, like, for your younger self? For if there is anybody that's ever going to listen to this that wants to start their own business, because
Yeah.
you know, there's people across the world that are trying to do the same thing that you're trying
Yeah.
to do. Like, how would you help them, or how would you guide them?
Man, it's kind of crazy because I feel like I have some advice to give because I'm going through it, yes,
Yeah.
but I'm also still
Learning.
taking my own advice and
Yeah.
still learning.
Yeah.
The biggest thing for me is, I was a fitness manager at UFC for 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
The difference in a good coach and maybe a subpar or just a coach that didn't cut it was really not even based upon their science and their knowledge, not aptitude. It was mainly just, are they a professional, right? Do they show up on time or early? Do they look professional, well groomed, and uniform attire? Like, do you just take yourself seriously, and should other people take you seriously? So I think that is kind of what I would tell myself back then. Like, I was by no means a shithead doing dumb stuff.
Yeah, I'm
but-
not saying you were,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like,
But I would just tell myself then, obviously take chances and go for it, right? I could have stayed at UFC and went to other corporate brands and, I got a GM offer, but I was like, man, I want to build something and I want to kind of change the industry how I want to be changed, or at least have an impact on the few hundred people that we can. But that all happens with just, I think the thing that we're bringing, my wife and I, is just authenticity. We're not trying to sell people on this and that. We're just being ourselves. And if you like what we have to offer and you feel that we're genuine, then we're going to take good care of you. We're going to invest in you like you're investing in us in our gym. And it usually takes care of itself from there. And I think that's where corporate fitness is missing it a little bit. There's a bunch of great people that I still have awesome relationships with at UFC and other brands. But they're more on the ground floor. Once you start getting higher up the chain of command, it becomes a little diluted. And I feel like it loses that personal connection that we're trying to bring to our people.
yeah. And then now, like, you have to, there's so many ways to advertise yourself. Like, you do your
Yeah.
Instagram thing every morning.
Yep.
You're showing people that, and you have your Zoom class. Then, was it Facebook and Twitter and everything else? You're probably going to have to try
And I'm
to
not even good at those. I may need your help.
But yeah, it's just that's just the new business approach. Like,
Yeah.
some people don't even need the, like the people that couldn't leave COVID, you were doing a class online on
Yep.
Instagram for an hour,
Yep.
and they can get a workout that way
Totally.
now. They don't have to go to a giant corporate gym
Yep.
anymore. Like, for myself, I follow somebody when I go to the gym. Like, I look at his workouts and kind
Yeah.
of follow his workouts as well. Yeah, I just, like, I see, like, the corporate gym is really, I feel almost kind of scared for them
Yeah.
in a way. Like, I don't know how they're going to keep.
Well, it's sad because it's really not based off people getting results, which I don't think that they're wrong in offering something. It's like
Yeah.
you see a need, to have a gym chain that, provides a good service. And it's a good service. Like your Gym Choose, it gives you a theater, it gives you hydro massage bed, it gives you
Yeah.
everything. So, like, is it a good service?
And for
Yes.
the price, I
And for
really
the
can't
price.
because I pay $25 a month.
Yep.
Wow. I mean, you get a lot of UFC
Yeah.
but it was
But
at
for
80,
90,
80
it's like, yeah.
$90 a month. That's
Yep.
a lot of money for a lot of people out there.
Yeah. And I think the angle that we're trying to take is, we don't have all the fancy bells and whistles and huge facility, but what we do have is we're going to take good care of you. We're going to invest in you. We're going to hold you accountable. We're going to just give you all of our time and attention, which is what the big gyms, they can't do. And I don't think they even want to do, right?
Yeah.
They're just trying to collect dues, and that the dues taps are huge, right? Some of
And
these
then-
clubs out there are collecting $400,000 a month just on the member base. Every first of the month, $400K, right?
I think I read somewhere that like 40% of it, like 40% of the people that are getting dues tapped don't even go.
I think it's actually even higher, but it's a massive percent. And again, I don't want to speak bad about it because if that's the business model and it's working, and I'm not saying you're a bad person.
A lot of them still open, so they're still doing. It's like I'm not mad at them for doing it.
I just want to get people results. That's why I got into fitness, to actually help people, not to make a living out of fitness, but to just add something more and kind of give back. So if I can help coaches like myself back in the day make a career out of fitness, that alone would be so rewarding. Like I've had a lot of coaches that I've known who smarter than me, right? They got out of fitness. They had master's degrees in exercise physiology, but they just felt like it's a business and I'm having to sell myself and I'm having to sell everyone on different products and services. And it just wasn't for them, where I'm like, man, you had everything. You were professional. You had all the certifications. You were great with people, but because the industry is going the way it's going into sales, it's not something they wanted. So if we could help kind of change that a little bit and give people a different avenue, that'd be awesome.
Especially with COVID. Like
huge.
Like this should change hopefully a lot of people's minds, whatever's going on right now in the world. Like be healthier.
Yeah, dude, yeah.
And even if you get sick, you'll probably be okay.
Yeah. I mean, look at these it's not like the disease is not getting, contracted by NFL, NBA. Like the NBA had a bunch of people get it, right? Like the freaking Utah Jazz had like 3 of their starting players get it. But when they were talking about the symptoms, it was bad for a couple days, and I got over it, right? They're not the people who are dying from it. Yeah, because they're eating right, because they're exercising, because they're hydrating. Yeah, if you're happier and healthier mentally, physically, spiritually, it's not going to affect you the same as someone else.
I can't think of like one athlete that's actually died from it.
Maybe a former athlete in their 80s. Current athlete.
There's a lot of older people, and it's always like if someone young did die, it's like because it's always been a lot of older people. But if someone young did die, like at the very end, they'd be like, also was diabetic.
Also, yeah, right. Like, asterisk.
Yeah, asterisk. Also had all these underlying conditions.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%. But yeah, hopefully it's a kind of shitty time right now in the world.
Yeah.
But hopefully a lot of people like find time to like come out of this a different person.
Yeah.
And start doing things differently and acting differently.
And it's crazy. As soon as this happened, we were honestly excited. I mean, my mom, she always jokes about it, how what did she call it? She was texting my wife the other day and said, Jake's like positive Polly or something like that. He's always seeing like the bright side and everything. I'm like, yeah, I mean, it literally is just a choice. Like, you can choose to see it as, oh, this sucks. I can't go to the gym. I'm going to make less money and blah, blah, blah. Like, yeah, my pay was, I couldn't earn bonus, couldn't get commissions, wasn't training sessions. I had a salary, sure. But, like, probably 50% of my pay was dropped, you know? So I was like, all right, straight hustle mode. What else can I do? How can I support my family, the 4 kids, my wife that lives here? And so we just made a, negative situation positive and just – the AIM Fitness was born, from this crappy time.
That's crazy, man.
So
that's gonna be still
crying,
still
crying.
Still,
an hour later.
Yeah,
strong.
Has been at least an hour.
Jeez.
Well, since it's an hour right now, I think we've got a lot out of this today. Do you have any thoughts, ideas, or anything that you want to share with anybody that's going to be listening to this? Because I want you to plug all your stuff before we get off here, because I want everybody to listen to this to go check out Jake's Instagram. Go look at his workouts that he does every morning at 8 a.m. Yeah. But any thoughts or ideas in the world, like anything, how you feel about politics, what's going on in California? I can talk, man.
That I'm excited to see because obviously, we want to get our own gym location. We're deciding industrial or retail, and we're hearing that landlords are going to be very desperate to get tenants in, since there's a lot of bankruptcies.
Yeah.
And then I'm also hearing from a lot of other clients like, hey, wait till after the election. I think it's all tied to the election. So, I mean, I try to stay away from politics as much as I can, because it's not a negative view. I don't know what impact I can have. Sure, I can vote, but, is my vote going to have a drastic impact on things? Probably not. And so I'll just choose to focus my attention and my energy on something that I can impact.
Yeah.
Politics is not one of them. So I don't even turn on the news. If someone tells me something cool, I just take it for what it's worth, in one ear out the other.
It's like a reality show.
I don't even get consumed with it.
But
crazy.
Okay, so where can people find you? And like, do you have is it just Instagram right now? That's your main thing, or do you have a website yet?
It's being made right now. A good buddy of mine, been training him for the last 2.5 years. He's making the website, and it's going to be good. I'm currently working on some online programs. So we're going to do everything we just did. We had a 5-week fat flush challenge. And again, we had some incredible results. I mean, guys who were, losing 10 pounds in 5 weeks and adding a couple pounds of muscle. I mean, it was just, I didn't expect the results to be what they were. So we're going to kind of bundle all that up on an online platform version. Not charge a premium. It's going to be a little cost, of course. It's a lot of man hours that's going into it. But there's going to be a nutrition program on there and a weight loss kind of shredding program. And so those will be up for purchase pretty soon here on the site. There'll be a link on my Instagram. There's a Facebook page, AIM, and then a website soon to come. Nice. So,
all right, I'll put it on the link here so people can follow you. But thanks, man. Thanks for being my first podcast. I appreciate
feel honored.
It. Is this your first time ever doing something like this?
First time.
So it feel
first
weird?
time, but not the last.
Yeah, it's not gonna be last. I'll try to make it. You'll be my fitness guy every month or something. Sweet. I'll try to come down. We'll try to do something.
That'd be awesome. Get people's questions or something.
I think I'm 270 right now. I could be fatter.
We have a scale in the garage.
Yeah,
I'll
weigh myself and I'll put it up. I'll take a picture and when I put this on Instagram, and maybe every.
But he didn't eat the last hour, so that's good.
Yeah, I've been dehydrated, so I'm gonna dehydrate myself. So my
and then do that
fat
calorie
test.
Oh,
just like feel better about myself. But
you got a nice tan. That's good.
It's fucking 110 degrees outside. Once you walk outside, you're automatically getting a small little tan. But thanks, man. Appreciate it. This will be the end of it. Thank you guys for listening.